Welcome to the very first edition of the Joe Call Show here at Oceanside Collegiate Academy. And we're social distancing today, doing this first show, unfortunately, by video conference. Hopefully, in the very near future, Coach Call and I will be sitting next to each other at the table, and we'll be able to talk face to face in that way. But until then, we're just going to have to make this work, Coach. Welcome to Oceanside.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's great to be here, and great to be part of the family. And like you said, we're all getting used to this online thing, so doing kind of the video conferencing thing. So we'll kind of make do for now, but I'm sure we'll have our time to kind of get together and do this show kind of side by side.
Well, Coach, I know it's got to be unusual for you moving just over from Somerville, right up the road, where you coached for, I believe, 5 seasons in the shadow of your legendary grandfather, Coach McKissick. And here you're coming in to replace very popular and very successful Chad Greer. Tell us what the transition has been like for you so far.
Well, being at Somerville, following my granddad, following in his footsteps, kind of what he had built there was it was really a transition for the entire town and the entire school, and it's really the same situation here because Coach Greer in his time here has built this program to and built a culture here as part of this school to that winning culture, winning attitude, and what it takes to win, and the hard works mentality, and so it's something I'm comfortable with, something I'm used to, and it's no stranger to as well. But it comes down to no matter where you're at, putting that effort and putting all your hard work toward those kids, what's best for the kids. And I know Chad did that here, and I know and that's why he became really popular with the players, and is really popular. I mean, with the players and with all the parents and the entire faculty here at Oceanside, because he really poured that love into those players in this program. And that's the type of person I am. Is to really dive in with these kids and to really get to know them and really care about them, their families, and where they come from, and really creating that family atmosphere within our own team. So he did a great job here of really building that culture and establishing it. So it's a great situation to be coming in.
What should we look for that might be different under a Coach Joe Call as opposed to Coach Chad Greer?
Yeah, just really the only way I know to do things are what I learned and what I did at Somerville, and that kind of formula has worked. So it's just that I really think rather than what's different, it's really kind of what's the same, and the little differences will kind of show up. But really from knowing Chad for a long time and hearing how he did things here, there's not going to be many differences. And there's that excitement. There's that really focus on being organized. The accountability is just one of those things you really kind of put your stamp on, and just kind of getting your work done. Everybody's time is so precious, and whether if you're workouts, or whether if you're in meetings, or whether if you're at practice, just really kind of utilizing your time and kind of taking advantage of the time you get and being productive during that time, and being organized while you're doing it. So I guess the difference is, from the people who've seen, directly, whether if it's coaches or players or parents, is like, well, Coach Call does this a little bit different than Coach Greer. And, that's one thing with the current coaches that have been on staff, is I'm reaching out to them, what has worked here, what's done well, what's, been successful here as far as, your method of doing things. So it's something I really want to learn from these coaches and players, and, because they've had time to really figure out, and it's shown what does well here, what works here, and, maybe, where can we tweak a few things here and there to make it even better. But ultimately, we want to continue to build and make it better year after year, to where even when the players come back, they want to be part of the community. They want to come back, and it's always as good. You love as a coach when the players come back and they say, well, we didn't have that when we were here. Well, it's here now because of what you did while you were here, so it's a good mentality kind of going forward.
Well, speaking of the coaching staff, I know a lot of the players and families at Oceanside are wanting to know how intact will the staff be that we had in the 2019 season, and also, of course, Coach Rashad Jackson left for a head coaching opportunity in Florida. what do you foresee for a defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I had a lot of people reach out for that defensive coordinator spot. Oceanside is a place that a lot of people want to be, and that's a good thing for this school and for this community. And I'll have a chance to really look through those and talk with those people and have those conversations now that I am the coach, and be able to really reach back out to them and kind of get those philosophies and see if they fit within our family here at Oceanside and within our coaching staff. So there's some ideas out there to fill his spot. I know he did an excellent job, and I actually had a chance to meet him and kind of talk with Coach Jackson a little bit, and I know he's excited to be going back home. So yeah, it's always when you have a coach of his level and his nature, that love that the players had for him, it's tough to replace. But he built himself into an opportunity to be able to move back home and be a head coach and make a difference back home. So we're working every hour, every day to make sure we find that next person to fit into this coaching staff. As far as the guys that were on the staff this past year, I've reached out to every one of them, have meetings with them. I really want them to stay, want them to continue to be a part of what they have been a part of building here. And, if they have other opportunities and want to look to move on, I understand that, and they've earned that. But I wanted them to know from me. I want the players and the parents and all to know from me. And I made sure Ms. Corley and Coach Meyer know that, it was important for me to reach out to the current coaches and say, hey, I still want you to be a part of this. I'm not coming in trying to change a bunch of stuff, not trying to change terminology and change, I'm here to learn from them what has worked here. And, because what they've done has been successful. It's not a culture rebuild. It's not a program rebuild where you have to come in and say, all right, I got to start from ground zero, because they've done it the right way here. And that's paid off through how the kids work and through their success on and off the field, and how they've established themselves within not only the community but statewide, and really going in nationwide, playing the games out of state. So that was important for me to know, and I've had some great meetings with coaches, and most of them are from what they're telling me so far is their plans are to be here and to continue this process, because and they've loved the direction they're going in, and really I've told them, I said, I'm recruiting you. You guys are it's not just me getting to know you. Y'all got to get to know me. Am I the kind of guy that you want to work for? And I think they're seeing that really quickly. That it's kind of going back to what are the differences, but I think they're seeing a lot of the same kind of attitude and kind of mentality that Coach Greer had here. So things are going well. We got we've had our first team meeting. We had some staff meetings, and going to work into some kind of communication stuff through all of our different internet platforms. So it's going well.
Very good. Have you had an opportunity yet to study much film and give any sort of assessment of what kind of personnel you have coming back for the next season?
Yeah, film-wise, we have a very good system called Huddle, which everybody has, and all the games are on Huddle, so I've been able to kind of go back and watch some of the games and stuff from last year. But I do know a lot of those players have graduated and are moving on, and so I spend a lot of time with who are the kids coming back and coming up from the JV, and it's been a very successful JV program. Coach Birch has done a great job with those young guys, coaching them up and getting them ready for the varsity level. And that's one of the first things I told the players in our first team meeting. I said, look, those guys are gone. They set the groundwork. They laid the foundation for what Oceanside football is. I said, now it's your turn to step in and continue that building process, because those guys worked hard to establish it. Now, it's on you. You are now the seniors. You're the next leaders. You're the next. It's really the names that maybe people on the outside haven't heard about yet. So we're ready for those guys to kind of take that next step. And working with the Coach Gates here in the strength program, just those kids' work ethic, in the weight room and what they're doing in the classroom academically. They're the type of kids that are really focused on being elite, not only academically but athletically as well. And those are the type of kids that as coaches you get really excited to work with, because they're highly motivated and they want to do well, and they're not going to let each other down. They're not going to let their coaches down, the parents down, and they're proud of Oceanside. So really learning and looking at that, what the JV programs have done the last couple of years and what's coming up to be ready to step in. Those kids know how to win. They have won and they know what it takes to win. They've seen those older guys, be great leaders, and so they know what it takes even to step into those leadership roles, and that's exciting to know that those types of kids are next up. And a lot of them have reached out to me on social media, and that I think that just shows a ton about their character to reach out and say, hey, coach, just introduce myself, ready for the season to start, ready to get to work. That those leaders are already in kind of standing out and standing forth, before I really even get to meet them face to face.
So I think your background is as a quarterback yourself. Is that right?
That's right.
So,
that's right. Play quarterback at Somerville and at the Citadel.
Are you a pass happy, offensive minded guy, or what is your philosophy on that side of the ball?
Well, that's at the quarterback in me. Every quarterback likes to throw the ball, likes to pass in yards, likes to throw for the touchdowns, and that's the pretty way to score. Now, the coach in me realizes that in no matter what kind of offense you have, or what kind of team you have, you got to be really comes down to two things. And I learned this from my granddad: is that you got to be able to run the ball on offense, and you got to be able to stop the run. So you can throw it 100 times a game, but when you have to be able to run the ball to control the game, you got to be able to do that. And those types of games where you can run your offense, man, and look and be exciting. And I love to throw the ball. I love to be a run pass offense or a pass run offense, and try to go as fast as we can, score as many points as we can, and then play good solid defense. But when you do get there's always going to be those games and that come along to where you better be able to run the football and make those first downs and kind of control that clock. So that's the coach side of me. So the offensive coordinator, quarterback side of me is like, man, let's go fast as we can go. Let's score as many points as we can do it. Let's light that scoreboard up and get that music playing. So it's there's two different mentalities. So it's as a head coach, you can kind of be excited about scoring all the points, but you got to be able to say at practice time, say, hey, we need to make sure we can control this game when we have to.
You mentioned a number of the players have reached out to you on social media. Of course, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 social isolation, and there is no school. What plans do you have for being able to reach out and communicate with your entire team in the near future?
Yeah, here at Oceanside, all that, when I came in, that stuff is really set up already. They've had those communications with the, Insta teams and, through Zoom or through all the, the different GoToMeeting platforms and all that kind of stuff. So, just being able to quickly, within one day, just to be able to say, hey, I would like to have a team meeting. Okay, it's set up. Here's the link. Let's go. And so, those are the kind of communications we're going to have, just really encouraging, and sending videos, nothing mandatory, nothing, that the kids have to do, but these types of kids and athletic kids and high school kids, they don't want to sit around the house all day. And, they're going to get out of the house, but, they do want some direction, they want some accountability, they want some expectation coming at them. And so, Coach Gates and I have kind of had a little fun of, he's, putting some videos out to the kids and, about just different types of workouts, just different ideas. And really at this time, and you're kind of seeing it with all athletes around the country, just, some of them have ways to work out and some of them are being creative in ways to work out, and some are getting out the house and, going and find a little sandbox somewhere and trying to, do some more, just anything creative that they can do. So it looks like a lot of them are having fun with it. And, being able to get out, I have, children of my own and I've done this, but, for even some dads to get out there with their sons and toss the football around, I know that, they're building those good memories too. So, whether if it's brothers getting out or, they got a teammate that lives around the corner or down the street or next to them, or they kind of get together, really through these platforms, encouraging just to get out and be active, get your schoolwork done, take those breaks, go outside, get a little sweat going. The weather is starting to heat up a little bit. So, there's certainly things that they can do. And because, we've kind of stressed to them, even though it can't be mandatory, we can't fall behind, because a lot of people are out doing something. So, you definitely want to kind of be keeping up with everybody and not just laying around the house. And they don't really want to lay around anyway. They just want some direction of, hey, coach wants us going out doing something. Let's go do something.
Well, Coach, of course, the Land Sharks are going to be in a new region, Region 8 AAA, moving up from AA this season. And They'll start a new rivalry with Bishop England in football, a team they've never played before, also facing off against Battery Creek, Hanahan, and Academic Magnet. So what can you tell us about what this season might look like for the Land Sharks from your standpoint?
Yeah, talking about the region first, what a great region, what a good football region this is with, having Bishop England, with what they've done football wise over there. I mean, they know what it takes to win and to win state championships, and they've done it on a big level. And then, of course, Coach Craig, Art Craig, the new head coach over at Hanahan, he's going to bring just a tough mentality, we've played Timberland before, and Art Craig, Coach Craig was over at Timberland, so he's going to bring that same toughness to Hanahan, and they're going to be good from the very beginning. They're going to, he'll come in and in his little bit of time there, establish a mentality of just a very tough brand of football. That's hard to prepare for, and a lot of teams struggled playing his teams at Timberland because they were always going to be strong, they're going to be tough, and they're going to be hard to prepare for. So. It's a tough region, and then of course, like you said, going down to Battery Creek. But man, I don't think there's not many teams that could say they have a tougher non-conference schedule than we have. Starting with Goose Creek, playing a 5A football team. Really building that schedule. That's been part of the process here is building that schedule and playing tough opponents and not being afraid to really play anybody. And Goose Creek's a team I'm familiar with, and I know those coaches over there, and I know those players and what kind of atmosphere that is, and that's going to be a challenge right out the gate, and something our players are already working towards. They know that game is going to be there. That's going to be our first game, so they, it's part of their preparation. But really going to going down to Buford to play Buford, playing of course Gray and Legion, and within the state, but also we're heading out of state to go play a high school in Atlanta. So, we get to travel there, and, it's going to be a Cam Newton Classic, a showcase game. And all that's non-conference. We got to go through all that before we get to the Bishop Englands, the Hanahans, the Battery Creeks, the Academic Magnets. So, we certainly got our work cut out for us.
Well, Coach, I have to wonder if you've had any conversations with Chad Greer about maybe setting up a game the following season with his team up in Charlotte. What do you think?
Yeah, we have not had that conversation yet. Most of our conversation has been just during the transition. I know he's trying to transition up there, but I'm sure that those conversations will happen. Actually, I talked to Coach Jackson a minute ago. It was kind of funny. We kind of brought up and said, hey, we ought to work on getting a game in a couple of years. I was like, let's kind of pump the brakes on that right now. But I'm sure the conversations will come up. One of the main conversations I've gotten actually from it's really through some conversations the last day or two from some Somerville people that I obviously know really well. Is like, are y'all ever going to play Somerville? So I was like, we'll kind of see what happens. But always, that's part of the vision here with Oceanside is to keep building that schedule and keep playing tougher opponents and kind of really, put that in front of our players. And we're going to play as tough a schedule as we can play year in and year out. And that's just going to make our kids better. They're going to prepare better and, kind of really let them kind of measure themselves against, you want to be the best, you got to play the best. And so all that begins with Goose Creek this year. So we'll see where it goes from there.
What are your chances of ever getting Wando on our schedule?
Well, there's, a new coach here at Oceanside, and there's going to be a new football coach there. So whatever's kind of going on in the past, I really haven't been a part of. Hadn't been a part of the reason why or why not, why they haven't played yet. But I'm sure, if we want to do kind of what's best for this community right here in Mount Pleasant, right here where we live, and with these kids, they go to elementary school together, middle school together, and even though they're separate high schools, they want to compete against each other. And whatever we can do, if we'll have those conversations with those coaches, and as we move forward, and if it, we look at it, and it's a chance for us to really kind of make our community stronger and better, and a better football community, then maybe that'll happen. So, we'll kind of, whatever has happened in the past, kind of be in the past, and we'll try to keep moving to the future and see if we can get those games scheduled because, they're right here down the street, and, not only in football, but I'm sure the other sports would like to be competing as well.
Coach, have you watched any professional wrestling this week?
I have not. It's funny because, you know, with no sports really going on, any kind of time something sports related kind of pops up, everybody wants to kind of jump on and watch it. So, you know, it was funny. You know, I was saying to even like my wife, you know, something that sports related could come on, she's going to watch it, and that's kind of how most of the country is. So I think there's really that race out there to kind of be the first sporting event back, because they do know everybody's going to watch it, and even wrestling, you know. So I think you know, if they can jump back in it, or UFC or whatever it is, it's going to be really popular as soon as we're able to come back.
All right, Coach Joe Call, again, welcome. Any final thoughts for the team or the Land Shark Nation before we sign off today?
This our family is so excited to be here and be in this community. You know, when we moved over here at the beginning of December, we knew we were home, and our church is here, Seacoast Church. You know, and now being a part of the Oceanside family, man, we are so proud to be Sharks. You know, we chose to be Sharks and had that opportunity, and you know, it was a great warming feeling coming home the other day, and you know, I said, we've been sharked. You know, we showed up and there were a bunch of Oceanside signs and in our front yard. So, you know, then you know, the way people in the community have reached out to us and really brought in our family, man, we are so excited to be here and, you know, just to be part of this family. And, you know, we chose to be a Shark, and we couldn't be happier. So, man, super excited to be here. You know, whenever we can have that opportunity to kind of get this thing really rolling, you know, I know that everybody's kind of, you know, chomping at the bit, so to speak, to get going. But, you know, we have to stay safe first. And, you know, my wife's a good example. She's in the medical field. She's a doctor downtown Charleston. So, you know, she goes toward the storm every day while we're trying to stay safe from the storm. So, you know, we're kind of getting a direct picture of what that looks like. So, you know, she's my hometown hero, and for you know, fighting the fight for us every day. But, you know, we need to do our part to stay safe and just let this thing kind of settle down. And because certainly, you know, sports are going to be there, and it'll be one of the first things to come back and kind of unify all of us back together.
Well, I know we all wish your wife the best, and send our thanks to her and all the other doctors and nurses and first responders who are out there. And again, we want to welcome you to Mount Pleasant and to Oceanside, and we will look forward, hopefully, to having a full football season in the fall, and being able to have you and the guys start up hopefully sometime this summer. And we'll get back together again on a weekly schedule with the Joe Call Show. Thanks again.
Excellent. Sounds great. Look forward to it. Go Sharks.